This is the best way to enjoy playing 2K25. No, it's not my career. It's not playing Park. It's not my team. It's not playing now online. MyNBA. I'm going to tell you why this is the best way to play the game. First of all, you have just a ton of creative freedom in this mode, and it's really insane how much you can do from save to save in MyNBA. For example, let's take a look at my Sonics rebuild that I did. You can do a lot just in one save. This is an expansion team. This is, creating a storyline, stuff like that. For the Sonics, the storyline was, the NBA is going to add 2 teams. We added the Sonics and we added the Venom. We added 2 teams to the west, so that means the Grizzlies have to move out east. They're, pretty far east on the map relative to America, and that creates another storyline there. How do the Grizzlies do in an Eastern Conference that's pretty weak right now? Stuff like that. Creating storylines, I feel like, just helps you enjoy the game so much more. Other storylines that I had in this series, Jaylen Brown. The thing was, he was on the Celtics, and the Celtics had lost 2 years in a row in the playoffs. So Jaylen Brown was fed up. He didn't want to be with this team anymore. So we came in after he went to the Kings, and he didn't like his fit there. Jaylen Brown left again. Where did he come? He came back to us. That's when Tari Eason storyline is, he was unhappy with the amount of wings that were on the Rockets at the time when he got his extension. We traded for him after he got his extension, and he played very well for us and ended up being a huge contributor to our championship team. Trey Murphy, he didn't like the amount of wings and the amount of losing the Pelicans were doing. Zion was there, Herb was there, they drafted Ace Bailey. He didn't want to be there anymore, so we came in, swooped him up, won a championship with him. AJ Green, he left because the Bucks didn't have Giannis anymore, and if Giannis is in there, why does AJ Green want to be there? To Diabate, the Hornets liked him, seen enough flashes, but didn't like him that much, so they let go of him, and we picked him up in free agency. Just stuff like that. Anthony Simons was looking to win a championship, had been playing with Las Vegas for a few years, found no success, joined us. First year he was here, won a championship. It's just little stuff like that in terms of just creating a storyline. Control every team. Just make sure everything is according to plan. Make sure certain rotations are up to date. Make sure you don't have a ton of centers on one team. Make trades for these teams at the trade deadline. If somebody needs to be traded, trade them. For example, LaMelo Ball, he wants to be traded halfway through the season because the team is 10-40. Trade him, or make a storyline that he wants to be traded. Teams help. Let's say a good team at the top. Let's say this Bucks team, right? I don't know if they'd be a good example, but let's say they didn't have any centers, right? Had a great team but no centers. Go trade for a center for them. Go trade with a team that doesn't need a center anymore. And give them a center. Just do little things like that to add continuity, right? The Lakers, they need a center. Go give them a center if you want them to be better. The thing I like to do is check the teams at the bottom of the standings. Does this team look like they should bottom out? Say, for example, this Knicks team, right? If this team is looking to bottom out, let's say they're 10-30 at the trade deadline, right? And they have OG and Mikal right here. Maybe you trade one of those guys. Trade them away just to get them more assets. Trade away Cat to get them more assets. The Cavs, let's say, damn, this is a good team, but they're bad somehow. Let's say they have this record, and they have a veteran like PJ Washington at small forward, who's just sitting there, or Alex Caruso, winning players, but they're on bad teams. Trade them away. Get some picks for this team. CPU trade offers on. If you have that on CPU to CPU trades as well, do trade approval. Some teams will try to trade Kawhi Leonard for a bag of chips and a second round pick. Like, don't let that happen. It's not realistic, and it wouldn't be done. We've seen some unrealistic trades in real life, but there's stuff you can do like that. Just make sure stuff is getting approved, and teams will just try and trade great players for nothing over and over again when it doesn't make any sense. So make sure you control every team, and make sure some of the trade offers are on, or the trade approval is on if you're not controlling other teams. You have to find a good roster before you start one. I've found some good ones, like Attention to Detail has some good rosters. Where they have a good roster. Something I like to do is I watch a lot of basketball, so I like to go through and just, do some of the roster on my own. Change some some things, change the accessories, change the badges, change some ratings, change some overalls, change the tendencies. Like, that stuff will help you a lot. Change some contracts, just to make it more realistic before you start your rebuild. I think that's a huge thing. So just find a good team that you would like to rebuild. Be different. Try different things. Play on realistic sliders is another huge thing. Play 5 to 10 games a season. Play every game in the playoffs just so you can build more storylines. But the thing I like to do is just find good sliders. I'm pretty sure these are Shady Mike sliders, and I adjusted a few things here and there. But Shady Mike on YouTube, those are his sliders. And it just makes the game a lot better, especially the gameplay. Sitting through 2K's regular gameplay, it's not great. But sitting through this one, it's pretty good. It's a challenge, but you also feel rewarded when you make good plays and you create open looks for your guys. Another thing, in terms of the gameplay, is don't play your shot meter on. Play with real player percentage, because that makes it all the more feel like, yes, you're in control of creating open looks and making defensive plays and stuff like that. But your team, right? If I kick it to the corner and Quentin Grimes, I could probably green that a lot. Then we can go 10 for 10 and there would be no point in rebuilding, because if I just had a high 3-ball on my guys, I'd win every game. But if you add this, Quentin Grimes, some games he might go 5 for 5, some games he might go 1 for 8, and it makes it more realistic because there's variance to the shooting. Real player percentage, sometimes when you go 0 for 5, you kind of know the next shot's going in, just in terms of the 2K, the real player percentage. That's your due for one, right? But maybe you miss. Like, there's a real mystery to these games. When a game winner is put up, you don't know if it's going in or not, right? And that kind of makes it a whole lot better, and it adds just a little bit more suspense and realism to the game. Another thing in terms of gameplay, try different playbooks. I switched probably 3 or 4 playbooks in this series with the Sonics until I found the one that fit my team the best. Just try different plays. If you want to get even more in depth, I mean, you can go in the playbook and change plays, and you can change different looks for different players. You can make AJ Green a rollman if you really wanted to. Trey Murphy, I made him a ball handler as a pick and roll guy, even though he was 3-point first. This will help players get better plays. And the thing I like to do when you go in coaching settings, turn on offensive play calling to auto. Like, make that, like, you can give realism to the coaches. So if your coach is calling bad plays and you don't like his playbook, either you switch the playbook or you can just fire him. That's another storyline, right? The plays aren't running well, let's just fire him. So that just adds more realism. Another thing I like to do when I start off early in series is, if I don't have good defenders, I'll run zone. And hell, even when I do have good defenders, but a certain matchup isn't working, run zone. It makes the gameplay so much more fun and so much more appealing and way more enjoyable, right? When you run a zone and you're getting some stops here and there, don't run it the whole game. I mean, you may be able to with some lineups, but switch it up. Run full court press. Make the other team run full court press like the Pacers do in real life the whole game. It just makes the game more, it doesn't feel like every game is the same. So even when you're playing against different opponents, sometimes it feels the same, but if you make these adjustments, every game will feel unique as to who you're playing and what type of schemes these teams are running. Like I said earlier, play 5 to 10 games a year. There's 82 games. You don't need to play every single game. There's really no need to play big matchups, storylines here and there. Like with Jaylen Brown, I wanted to play the Celtics because we're playing Celtics. I want to play the Kings because he was on the Kings. Just stuff like that. That'll really help you kind of feel. It's like, in Madden, you can play every game of the season because every game is so important. In the NBA, not every game is important. There's 82 of them. So play 5 to 10, maybe even 15 games if you really want to. Go to the playoffs. And I just encourage you to play every single game in the playoffs. Like, it makes it a whole lot fun. You kind of build rivalries, and that adds to the storyline aspect of it as well. And honestly, keep some tabs on these things. Write them down in your notes. Write them down in a notebook. Write them down in some paper, and it'll just help your experience way more. And playing offline is just so much more fun. Some injuries, you're gonna have to monitor them. Yes, injuries are realistic and they do happen. Right now there's only 3 in the entire league. A lot of injuries are happening, and right before the playoffs, right? And then Amen Thompson tears his ACL, and so does Şengün. Like, you can just change those, like, just get rid of them, just stuff like that. You have to do that for some trades as well. And then, you know, if you trade them, give them their injury back, like, that's okay as well. It was technically injured when he got traded to the Lakers, so stuff like that, you can do that. Just monitor some injuries, just trade stuff around. If you want more fun, I would say, and more of a fantasy aspect, create your own player. I've done that multiple times. I've done that with Jamal Slater in my Venom rebuild that I did in 2K22 or 23. I did one with Lorenzo Jacobs in the Jazz rebuild that I did. I did one with Vander Williamson last year in 2K24. Like, he was extremely fun to use, and just kind of, it's like a my player in a way, but you're still using the whole team. You can't just do a my player and then do player lock, which is also pretty fun. As you go right here, go to player, but you can do that. So creating your own players, create players across the league, just give them storylines, customize them, add tattoos over the years. Like, you know, NBA players come into the league with a few tats, and then, you know, by the time they're 30, they're fully tatted, like Jordan Clarkson, stuff like that. It adds so much more realism. It's more of like a lifestyle type of thing, but it's fun to do, to create your own rookies and kind of create your own universe. You know, you can choose, you know, where these guys are from, how they grew up, what school they went to, what adversity they've been through. Another thing I like to do is just take guys from the G League and kind of give them a little bit of a boost. It happens in real life. Like, players come out of nowhere. Like, Ty Jerome had a really good season for the Cavs. He was bad in the playoffs, but he came out of nowhere and he had a really good season. Just stuff like that. Upgrade random players. Make random players drop in overall. Monitor the overall situation, because this is ridiculous. There should not be 490s on one team, and that team's not even that good. Like, there's situations where teams have like 490 overall players and they're garbage. So monitoring the overalls is extremely important in terms of stuff like that. You know, choose different accessories for some guys if you're getting bored of the same way how they look. If you're on PC, you can really do a lot of different stuff. You can fix these portraits and stuff, and you can get cyber faces. I'm pretty sure Luka has a cyber face. Yeah, he does. Mark Williams has a cyber face, but that's just PC exclusive, and not a ton of people have PCs, so it's not a ton you can do in that situation if you don't have a PC. And then the thing I like to do is play. Last tip I have is play 5 to 7 seasons, maybe even less if you're not feeling it, and be patient. You don't have to rush into being a championship contender, but just enjoy the journey sometimes. But, you know, 5 to 7 seasons, then restart, make a new one. Like, you don't have to keep doing it for 10, 15 seasons. I mean, once you get past that point, there's no more real players, and that kind of ruins a little bit for me, but I mean, some people might like that. But when you do another team, just try a different strategy, try different things. Another huge thing I want to say is fix contracts. You'll have to do some own testing on that, but make sure the contracts are right, make sure the rule changes are good. In free agency, make sure all the players go to correct teams, and make sure the team fit makes sense. If it's a bad organization that makes a bad move, let them have it, right? That's just what bad teams do. But you have to monitor a lot of stuff, but I promise it's so fun. And this is the best way to enjoy 2K. Like, I've been playing this game since it came out, and shit, I played it damn near every day since it came out, which is kind of crazy to say. But it's so fun, and you can really just do so much customization with it, and you can do a ton, and just keep playing and get your money's worth, because this game is pretty expensive. You can get your money's worth. So yeah, that's really all the tips I had for this game. It is extremely fun to play offline. Online, it's a little bit fun, but it can get frustrating. I understand how it can be. But man, if you're able to customize this game enough, put some time into it, you'll get more than enough satisfaction back. So that'll be a video. I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know if you guys have any other tips on how to enjoy MyNBA and stuff like that, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace.